Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to A Hat in Time. This is my project I've been working on for a little while, that I've been wanting to do for a while. You see, I 100%ed the game literally the day before I started recording this. I've enjoyed it that much. I just wanted to, as soon as I was playing it, I was like, yeah, I know what I want. I want to record this. I want to just crack on and do it. And I get to do it live, which it feels like I haven't done proper live for a while. Like, I managed to get Sonic Mania live, which I was quite chuffed with, but I just prefer playing it live over post. So it's good to be able to play a really enjoyable, cute as heck little adventure that won't take me too long. Like, I can imagine this being less than 15 parts.
And welcome to yet another day of space adventure.
As we get introduced to our protagonist, who doesn't have an official name. Almost every single character doesn't have an official name, but the world likes to know her as Hat Kid, so that's what I'll be referring to her as. Hat Kid's a very lovable protagonist. Her controls are very simple, like she can double jump with the X button, or A if you're on Xbox. If you tap the right trigger, R2, you can do that little dive. You can do it on the ground or in the air. It's very helpful for mobility. You can only do it once per jump though, unless you bounce off an enemy of some kind. Like, if you do the equivalent of an enemy step, you regain that dive, but if not, you don't get it. If you touch the dive button again, the frame after you touch the ground is the easiest way to describe it. You'll bounce and get that spring in your step like you saw there. That right there tells you how many collectibles are in the game that you need to get. You only need 25 to get to the final boss, but we will be getting all 40 when we inevitably lose it. Because this is a collectathon game, so obviously if you have all of them at the start, they're gonna take them from you. When you're wearing Hat Kid's normal hat, L2 becomes your objective marker. Doesn't work for some missions though. If it's a mission where it's a loose objective, like it's not focused, where you need to go.
Need to pay toll in Mafia Town. Even in space. Mafia come in to collect.
The Mafia comes to collect the fucking toll in space, alright. But yeah, if it's like a collect objective where it says find a bunch of comeuppance, the hat won't work. But if it's just get to a set objective, it will. Oh no. Yeah. I like how the hat managed to stay perfectly on her head though. And all her timepieces. That fuel said more than 40. I like how she's just annoyed. She's not like terrified that she's getting sucked out of a spaceship into a falling planet, or her entire fuel supply is landed with her. She's just like inconvenienced. But here we are already back into our first proper level. The game's split into 4 chapters, and I'll be tackling them in an order that I think is the best order that I personally feel. Like, you might disagree, you might feel to go for some others, but I won't be like 100%ing Mafia Town before I move on to chapter 2. I'll do what I can, and then when I feel it's appropriate, move on to chapter 2, and so on and so forth. Oh. And there's another character to be introduced to. Now, I called her Red Hood Girl, like when I first started, but the game at some point, alright, this is it telling you about the double jump. But the game calls her Mustache Girl because she wears a mustache, so very fitting. Oh. Right now we don't have our main way of attacking, so if you try and attack them, you hurt your hand, like so. There we go. These are worth going for, and they're very easy to do. In the first chapter, there's a bunch of little vaults you can find that open some nice things. Well, 2 of them open nice things. The third one's just extra loot, or pons, which is this game's currency. What have you got to say?
To Mafia. Not we fix this by moving to island. Now no road lead to Mafia.
Oh no. Let's get our last one. And this will get our first yarn. Collecting yarn will allow you to make new hats, but you have to have at least one yarn of said hat type. Alright, this is cool. If you run past this guy too close, he trips you up. Like yesterday, I got a sprint yarn. So now once I get enough yarn to make the next hat, I can make a sprint hat. But only a sprint hat. I can't make the other ones because I haven't got at least one yarn type for it. Alright, this guy's a dick. Look. Ah! Like, why? That's just so needlessly mean. Oh, I didn't realise Twitchy was here already. I thought he...
Hi there, young one. I am from a faraway land. I've seen every corner of the earth, and now I sell tiny pieces of my discoveries. You may call me the badge seller, for I sell and trade badges. I can provide you with strong abilities and upgrades to your hat. If you have money, of course.
Badges are like extra abilities. Most of them are passive. I'll be getting this one just because, although it's not really, it just attracts like pawns if you're near them, things like that. I'll get it anyway because for a let's play it will help keep the pace going if I can collect a healthy amount of pawns without having to go out of the way to get every single little one I pass. Right now we can only equip one badge, but later on shopkeepers will, well, I say the shopkeep, the badge seller will sell the ability to equip more badges.
Mafia is hard work. People no appreciate dedication to a job.
I'm not going to press the button yet, or at least activate the cutscene. And I'll shut up for this because I need you to hear. Like, I love the voice acting for this game for every single character but Mustache Girl.
Down there. Don't think I didn't see you stalking me. Us kids should stick together, not stalk one another. I mean, Mafia Town can be a really dangerous place. So what'd you say? Wanna join my little rebellion? Oh, by the way, did you have anything to do with the junk falling from the sky? Yeah? Yikes! Looks like you've got a lot of cleaning up to do, huh? Tell you what, come up here and I can show you where some of your junk landed.
The actress just, it sounds like she's trying way too hard. I just don't like her voice. I'm sorry to any Mustache Girl fans, but the voice just feels really forced and unnatural and I just don't like it. And it's like the only downside of the voice acting in this game is every other voice actor or actress I think is perfectly fine. Especially one perfect example we'll get to in chapter 3 where I actually think the voice acting is brilliant. But Mustache Girl, I just don't like her voice. I don't know who voices her, like, I'll have to look it up, but nah, they're not my cup of tea. Can I just get the fuck up there? Yeah, let's not overcomplicate things and try and wall jump, let's just, there we go. We got 2 sprint yarn now, so we can make our yarn hat. There's a number next to look at how much yarn you need. Sprint hats could be very useful. I won't use it much, but I'll use it enough to show it off. It's literally, if you hold L2, you'll dart around nobody's business. And under here, we can actually start working towards our next hat, a brewing hat, which we'll need for a few missions later on. So it's worth getting now. Okay, I'll try and be fucking fantasy. There we go. But the sprint hat's great. There's a lot you could accomplish with the sprint hat that you might not think you could at the start, especially because...
Hey, I think one of your junk pieces fell and smashed right into the market's fountain. Messed it up real good.
No, actually. I didn't mess up the fountain. It was already messed up when the junk piece landed, if you look carefully. Ugh. Bye. Anyway, as I was saying, you can, in your sprinting, if you jump during a sprint, you'll naturally do a long jump. And you'll be surprised how much range you can actually accomplish with the long jump. If you do the sprint jump, break it into a double jump, and then do the dive, you can make so much distance. It's ridiculous. I'll take you. Oh, oi! Give me the fucking timepiece. Fine, we'll take your parasol and use it as a fucking weapon. Right, it took me for ages to learn. She's not saying death to the Mafia, she's saying down with the Mafia. Because when I first heard that, I was like, fuck, that's dark. Just death to the Mafia! But no, it's dark. It's down with the Mafia, which is a lot friendlier. But it's like when Knuckles punches in Sonic Heroes, and you're convinced he's going shit, rah. But he's not. He's going here, rah. It's just one of those little things that you say. That sounds a lot worse than it is for a kids game. But anyway, now we have one piece of fuel. We have enough to turn the bloody lights on because it's like pitch black in here. I don't know how well the lighting will come up through YouTube compression, but it's pretty fucking dark. So let's turn the lights on. Power has been restored to main hall. The chapter Mafia Town is now available. So we've got lights and it's all nice and fancy. And all the different doors and abilities open that we can't get into here until we have 4. That's chapter 2. We need 14 to get into there, but that's the only exception to what I was saying earlier. Like I say, I'll move ahead when I think it's appropriate. The 4th chapter I will be doing when there's nothing else, when there's practically nothing else to do. Because I don't enjoy chapter 4. Chapter 4 is the only downside in this game to me personally. I know some people like it, I just don't, personally. I like the idea, and if they ever make a sequel to this game, I hope they expand on that idea, because I think they could do it really well with a bit more practice. But for now... Right, Act 2, Barrel Battle. Gonna put it out there now. The rest of this video will probably be on this act, because I'm not gonna go straight to it and do it. I'm gonna explore Mafia Town as a whole. Because there's a lot to see and discover around if you look around, and so now's the perfect opportunity to really do it. So I want to get it out of the way now and get a lot of exploring done. So I will get that act done this part, but just don't expect it straight away. Like, there's another vault code that you can find. Those little like hanging little hoops that are hanging from the sky, we cannot interact with them yet. They're grappling points. But we don't have any kind of thing to grapple with them with, so you have to do without for now. If you're trying to get the trophy for bouncing off 5 enemies' heads in one go, this spot's perfect for it, if you can round them up. That was accidental. If you run into small objects, you'll automatically kick them. Let's see what this is. Alright, relics. The game will explain them for me anyway, but just to get them out of the way short. Every relic in the game corresponds to another relic in the game. If you have all the relics that make a complete piece, you can build them and put them together in your home base, which will unlock bonus levels. Like, see, there's a relic you can buy from this guy as well. The bottom half of the burger you saw there, thankfully, is the smallest set because it's only 2 pieces, and it unlocks a bonus level for Mafia Town. And if they let you buy one of the crayons, but that's not until chapter 4's one, which is weird that they let you get that one, the first part of that so early, but you can't get the rest till later on. How? We need one more. The glowing boxes you're seeing is why you need the brewing hat, because you can destroy him with it. Sorry, Mustache Girl, we're not saving your ass with exploring first, because we're going to go around. Oh, there's these little collecting challenges, which is you collect all of them as fast as you can, because if you take too long, they vanish for good. But the thing is, they don't actually do much with this. Like, there's only 2 instances where you get a proper reward out of it. One of them's in this chapter, and the other one's in chapter 4. Every single other time, it's just to get more ponds. Mafia of Cooks, number 1 at everything.
That darn seagull over there took my camera.
Oh no!
Gone and done a belly dive over there. But this belly's too precious for sliding on.
You know what that kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, when they're doing tutorials, but the voice acting doesn't have the tutorial pieces in it, so they just say their lines, and you have to read the bit where it says "with this button." Oh, this is camera mode. It's pretty neat. You can turn off depth of field, like make it bigger or better, change fields, things like that. But I'd rather have the magnet badge on it because I never use it. There's only one act in the game, and I'll bring mention to it when we get to it, where the camera's actually useful in it. But until then, right, that's the relic for chapter 2. And thankfully Hat Girl can swim, so you don't have to worry about that. She just can't dive underwater. There we go. And now we got the brewing hat. Hold L2 and you'll concoct a potion that once complete will be explosive. Like so. See? So anything that glows you can blow it up with the brewing hat, so it's pretty nice. Also, that camera dude, whichever side of the dock you go to will be the side he's on. That's why they're almost symmetrical, where there's a little island on the other side of that as well. If you find people getting bullied by the Mafia, if you free them, they'll give you pons or sometimes yarn as well, so it's always worth doing. I don't think there's anything of interest in here yet, other than the yarn. Those balloons is what I meant earlier by if you dive into them, they'll reset your dive when you bounce off them. Because it's like, they count it as a sort of enemy step, the same as if you bounce off them, it will reset it. Sorry, Hatgirl, we nearly finished our tour of the island. To be fair, this island feels the most classic collectathon style map in the game. Like, all the rest feel a bit more episodic. Well, Chapter 3 is a bit like this as well, but I think Chapter 3, although I really enjoy it, I think it's just that little bit too big for its liking. Like, for its good. Like, I still get a little bit confused sometimes with it. But this one I think is just the right size, and it feels like something I'd expect out of Super Mario, like the 64, Sunshine. Maybe a little bit of Banjo-Kazooie. Even though I've never played Banjo-Kazooie, so it's not really fair for me to make that comparison. Worth noting, when you're doing the dive, if you're going down a slope, you'll pick up momentum. So that's another way, especially for speedrunners, of getting around fast. These cannons just take you to the opposite end of the island, so if you want to get to the opposite end super quick, there you go. Is that a chest eye? Yeah. No, it's a chair. There's a bunch of random chairs in all the planets that you could just sit down on. And it'll make the camera zoom out and turn the music off and just give you a nice little view of the area. Oh, that was only heart ponds. She got normal ponds and heart ponds. Heart ponds don't give you anything in currency, they just heal you up. But they give them to you so plentifully that you shouldn't really have to worry about health too much. Plus, you've got infinite lives. There's no life system in this game. If you die, it just resets you to checkpoint. There's nothing really up here, but I just wanted to show it off anyway. I could have left it because I know there's a point in it. There's an act later on that involves you going up there, so I could have just left it for that. But I was already right next to it, so I thought, why not? Even if you've already got the yarn it's made for, collect it anyway because it adds a number to your tally. So when you actually get a new hat type to make, you might be able to already make it if you've been collecting. Also, our twitchy badge seller is in 2 locations on the map. He's over there as well.
Have you come to make another purchase?
Oh, he hasn't got anything new. Putting out an umbrella before deadly impact. I might get that, but I haven't decided yet because it's kind of useful, but at the same time, you can negate damage if you land perfectly off a dive anyway, like do the little boost off it. I'll buy this though, just so I can start working towards it, because otherwise I'll forget. Alright, for some reason, if you noticed it, like for some reason the stuff on the screen seems to be twitching about. It never did that on my first playthrough, but I noticed it earlier as well when I was buying from the badge keeper. It was twitching a little bit. Unless that's something to do with the fact that I'm recording, which I hope it's not. That just seems a bit weird. Because I know, because at some point in the future, one of the games that are on the backlog of games I want to Let's Play is Freedom Planet. The only reason I haven't is because I'm not consistent with many of the bosses. Those bosses are really fucking hard. But I might as well just do this. But like, that game has some weird issues when you go to record it. Like, I'll work out how to get around it when I get to it, but oh, yes, this seems funny. It just shows the cheek of Hat Girl. She doesn't really care. But that's what I do like about Hat Girl's character, even though she doesn't have a fucking name, is that they didn't just make a goody two shoes hero. Hat Girl's character is extremely selfish and kind of sassy and kind of just gets on with everything. But she's just too damn cute and just gets on with it that you enjoy her anyway. If an enemy tries to block on the front, jump on them. When you're in midair and near them, tap in square will do like a homing attack.
Mafia won't bow to little girl. Prepare to feel Mafia's wrath.
Alright, now for phase 2 of this little mini boss. This is the only time in the game when you have a proper natural little mini boss. Which is a shame because I think the best parts of the game are the boss fights.
Think about avoiding peril.
Like, we have like proper bosses, but we don't have many mini bosses.
Stand still.
This bit's very easy. There's no way you can hurt the Mafia at top right now. You just have to wait, because eventually he'll give up and realise this is going nowhere, so he'll stop trying to throw barrels.
Heads up, little punk.
I think this is the last ones.
This lead nowhere.
Yep,
Mafia
see?
need to take care of this Mafia style. Prepare to feel what Mafia do to old ladies.
Well, I actually thoroughly enjoyed this game a bit more than playing. I wasn't expecting to, as we kick his ass. This guy has a bit more health to justify boss, but he's not that bad. There he goes. Oh, that was satisfying. Explosion to the fucking face. That launcher. And there we go. Now we're gonna have to put up with more terrible voice acting from Mustache Girl, but
Can you believe them? What a bunch of losers. Hey, you're alright, new kid. Do you have a name?
Hat Kid. That's the only name you need.
No? You shy?
Nope, not shy, just don't like you. For reasons I'm not supposed to not like you for. Yet.
Thing you grabbed there. Are you collecting them? Because I know where there's more of them.
And at this point, Mustache Girl doesn't know what they're for, but is willing to help us out because she's a good friend.
Up there.
For now.
We should go up there and get your junk. It'll be fun. I'll take any opportunity that involves messing up the Mafia.
Also, this girl has a bit of a sadistic side when it comes to the Mafia. Like, it's the level of sadisticness that shouldn't be in a young girl, in a young child. But what can you do? Intruder alert. Uh-oh. I wonder if Mustache Girl's invited herself in. Oh, look. Let's go talk to her.
Are you ready to take down some Mafia? Let's
Oh,
do it,
she's gonna
boys.
outline her plan. I'll shut up for this at least.
Let's go over the plan. All assaults need a good plan, or it'll be a flop. First, we strangle them, choke them, and watch them beg for mercy. That'll show them. No, wait. Strangling is too kind. We smash them together into mush and put their remains in a jar. Then we sell the jar for pocket money. That'll be the ultimate salt in the wound. But first, we have to make it through their Mafia HQ. Once we find and dethrone the Mafia boss, the rest will follow. Then our mush and jar party will be no problem. We've got to get you geared up. Your hat is basic, and we don't do basic in this gang. Yarn can be found around Mafia Town and used to stitch new hats if you're crafty. I've collected one for you. You need more yarn for some hats than others. I guess being creative isn't free. So keep an eye out for yarn. Now you're a killing machine. Let's go get them.
Like I said, sadistic. Let's go blow this up. We haven't found any yet, but if you can find tokens if you look around. Every 3 you can put into this, and you can get, and you'll roll a slot machine that will show off later on anyway. But it's a slot machine that gets you little cosmetics that you can have in the game. Yeah, no loot boxes though, thankfully. None of that fucking bullshit. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this as we kick off with it, and I'll see you next time where we go to She Came From Outer Space. But until then, you take care now.